Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Kyle from the TF Review, and welcome to another edition of Deconstructed, the video series where I open up Power Rangers or Toku toys and see exactly how they work. In today's episode, we are going to be opening up the Dino Charge Morpher. This is sort of my half-customized American Dino Charge Morpher. I did sort of add a lot of paint detail and whatnot, so it closer matches the look of the Gabu Revolver, because I honestly could not stand the way this thing looked. It's half finished. I haven't done really much on this side. And if you want, I can do a video showing what I've done to customize it to create this look. And maybe you guys can do it too. So, if you're interested in seeing that, let me know. Now remember, the point of this video series is not to destroy toys, but to see exactly how they work and to put them back together so that they can work once again. Now just for a quick example of how it works, you turn it on. There's a lever mechanism in the back that closes the mouth. It shoots up, and then it has a gimmick where you can take a beast battery or a dino charger, whatever you want to call it, stick it in the mouth, Now, if you can't tell, there are a lot of moving parts, so this may be a bit more complicated than the original. And my electronics are starting to kind of glitch out for some reason. So, without further ado, first things first, we need to remove the battery compartment. Now, we won't run the risk of getting electrocuted. So what we need to do next is opening the mouth mechanism that opens and closes. Alright. And it does look like I've already faced a fair amount of damage. And this piece is just fairly simple. Just comes off, it's just a shell. Now something's interesting. I believe in the Japanese version, when you pull the lever back, it lifts up both of these arms. But in the American version, it just lifts up the back arm, and this one acts more as a track, which I find interesting. So now I think we can go ahead, we can completely rip it apart and take a look at the inner workings. So now it does appear that we've gotten all of the visible screws removed. I believe what's next is to pull it apart, and we can see it's very easily coming apart. I just need to watch. Alright. So this is just a shell, and this is the inside of the Dino Charge Morpher so far. We can see the mechanism right here. Goes across the top. Fairly simple mechanism. I'm kind of surprised. We're going to take that apart, obviously. And now we can remove. It looks like a majority of the electronics are inside of this one black part. It's not racist. Alright. Now all that's left is to open up this piece. This is, of course, the reader and the spinning gimmick. And this is majority of where all the electronics are. It looks like there's only one screw holding it together. Alright, so now we've got the Dino Charge Morpher completely taken apart, probably more so comfortable than I am with, because there are probably twice as many pieces in this toy than there were in the Legendary Morpher. So it's a whole lot more complicated. We're just going to go ahead, we're going to take a look at all the pieces that comprise the Dino Charge Morpher. This, of course, being one of the sides of the shell. And this right here is the other side. I don't know how well you can see that. So you just stick them together, and this is essentially the core. Pow, 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 pow. You have the little back piece that you use to activate the mouth opening gimmick. This, of course, right here is the track that opens the mouth. Y'all know what this is. This is what you use to activate the sounds. You spin it, and there are these little wings that hit a little button that cause the activation. This, of course, are the pieces that form the head. And they just form like that, stick together. I actually broke one already. You can see right there, one of the little pegs broke off. So that kind of is a bust. This right here is an interesting piece. This is actually the whole entire housing for the electronics and the reader. It's also what goes in kind of right here. I thought it was neat to see how they did that all in a housing. It was like this was its own separate toy altogether. It's really a cool build. Right here's the battery compartment. This, of course, is the battery and the on and off switch. You have a ton of screws and all of the little pieces and doodads and whatnot. And, of course, the most important piece is the reader. This is where you stick the Dino Chargers. You stick it in like that. And it shouldn't slide through, actually. What it does is it'll hit one of these buttons right here. And this is little tiny buttons, and depending on the combination of pins you have back here, is the button that it'll hit. And either of these buttons is either the trigger or the spinner gimmick, which is operated by these two buttons back here. It's pretty complex for how simple of a toy it is. I would imagine that the Japanese version is essentially the same thing, with the exception that there's 2 slots and a slightly larger reader, and bigger batteries. And it's a bigger toy, but I would assume the build is pretty much the same. So that's exactly what makes up a Dino Charge Morpher. Now is the fun part, putting it back together. Oh god, I'm scared. Well, here we go. Alright, so I've gone ahead, put the whole thing back together, and it feels a lot nicer now that I went in and kind of tightened all the screws up. This mechanism works so much better. So if you're not afraid to open it up, you know, there's no harm in just tightening everything up, and it feels overall like a much more solid toy, which is kind of interesting. Well, now we're going to see if it works, so wish us luck. Alright, it looks like everything still works. I have a Dino Charger to test out. somewhere around here. Let's test out the Iguanodon charger. Oh, well, there's already a charger in there. Iguanodon. And there you have it, my friends. So we have taken apart the Dino Charge Morpher. It is a very impressive build. It is actually a lot more complicated than I expected it, but when you consider all the moving parts and all the electronics and whatnot, it does make sense. And it is, if you're not comfortable taking things apart, this one is definitely a bit more challenging to put back together. As it is, it's kind of like a layered build. You have to like stack pieces on one another, and it's a lot of fun, but it's just awesome. So that does it for this video. Probably in the next video, we're going to open up the Gosei Morpher. I suspect this will be a very easy, quick video. So, with that aside, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to doing another Deconstructed video for you guys. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.